give us a word that sums up how you feel just at the minute with everything that's happening.
Euphoric.
And I'm delighted now to have Glenn Hughes here for an interview for Belfast Telegraph TV. Glenn, welcome to Northern Ireland.
It's indeed my pleasure. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Great, and I believe you've had a nice Mexican meal last night.
Oh, you know, I took my guys out for a good old nosh up last night, and we all wanted a little spicy food, so that's where we went. Yeah, great time. What a great city. Great to be in Ireland. Absolutely.
Yeah, your first time here
in Belfast. Been to Dublin years ago. I won't tell the year because it'll make me very old, but it's very clear to me that I should have been here many years ago, and I'm here now. Love the Irish. I've got a lot of Irish friends, and I grab a great time.
And I must say, actually, in this very dressing room, interviewed Joe Bonamassa about a couple of years ago, and now that just brings me into your latest collaboration. Just tell us a little bit about how that whole Black Country...
Well, you know, it started out, Joe and I have been really good mates for 4 years. We have been kind of secretively plotting this for a while. First of all, it was going to be Joe and I doing an album together, and maybe with you know, guest artists or whatever. And then last November, Joe and I played at the House of Blues in LA together. We just played, and the reaction from the audience was overwhelming. And his producer, Kevin Shirley, was in the audience, and he decided, well, he asked Joe and I, why don't we, instead of making a Glenn and Joe album, why don't we just form a new band? What about Jason Bonham, and what about Derek Sherinian? And Joe and I looked at each other and went, okay, when did we start? And it was just that simple. It was just a matter of, it was just the right time, the right place, a little love, a little karma, and here we are all these months later with a big album.
And you were going to, I think at that time you were planning another solo album, and you thought, so you left the sort of funk rock bit behind, the funk soul bit, and you went straight back into the whole classic rock thing. That must have been, well, that was obviously a deliberate thing for you to do it.
Truthfully, I'd written another follow-up to First Underground Nuclear Kitchen. I'd written it. It was ready to go. It was in my studio, ready to go. And last October, I had this really vivid dream about me playing rock again, really going back to playing, you know, arenas and rock and roll with a band, and I didn't know who was going to be in the band. I figured that Joe would be in there, you know, and I just shelved the album. Even before BC's Communion was thought about, I shelved the album, realizing that if I was going to make another album, it had to be a return to my roots, a really return to rock music. I think a lot of my fans have been wanting that, and I've taken me a while to come around, and I didn't come in kicking and screaming, but I came in really willing to make a great rock album. And that album, of course, has been made with Joe, Jason, and Derek, so we're all super happy.
And I have with me now Speedo Wilson and Remy Haller from Sweet Savage, local rock band guys. Glenn Hughes here in Belfast. What do you reckon?
We're absolutely over the moon. We've been fans for absolutely years, since he was in Deep Purple, and then he went on to Black Sabbath and stuff, but we just can't wait to see him.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm a big Glenn Hughes fan, that's why I'm here, bass player, singer. Hero of mine, right even before Deep Purple. I knew him back in the days of Trapeze, so I was a big fan from then.
For me, truly, I've never really been a follower of musical fashion. I've always done what fuels me, and I've done things in my career in the sobriety that have fueled me to better me as a person and to be on the spiritual path. And I've made very heavy albums like Addiction. I've made very super funky albums like Feel. I've made crossover albums like Soul Mover. I've made albums with Tony Iommi. I've done KLF. I've done so many different things. I always like to push myself into areas where I'm not gone before, only because it fuels me. You know, I don't really do things for monetary reasons. I do things that make me feel good. Yeah, and I know the rest follows. I think if
just follow your own musical instinct, whatever it feels good.
I mean, but like I said before, with Glenn Hughes, if you have a soup, and in that soup is rock, funk rock, soul rock, blues rock, that's what you get. You stir it up, you put a little pepper in there, and that's what Glenn Hughes is. More so ever than before, I just think the general consensus in the rock world is that a lot of people were waiting for me to come back to making pure rock music. And the time was right for me to do that. And it was just a matter of it was a moment away from me, and it's good to be back.
Okay, what's your name, please?
My name's Joseph McDonald.
Okay, Joseph, I'm a big Glenn Hughes fan.
Definitely loved him for years, I'm buzzing that he's here in Belfast. I can't wait to see him.
And you're talking about those other various collaborations, and you mentioned the KLF, and of course, wasn't it, I think it was the KLF that came up with the Voice of Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Description of you. You seemed quite happy with that. And
you know, for me, truly now, it was not a plot or a ploy for Glenn Hughes or anybody in my organisation to call me the Voice of Rock. It was something that the good guys at the KLF called me. Then the album and the song went top 5 all around the world. And then all of a sudden, people are calling me the Voice of Rock, and the media, then the fans, and then all of a sudden there's a tag, the Voice of Rock. I'm very flattered. There's a lot of great rock singers in the world, you know, and they're my mates. So I'm kind of a little embarrassed by it, because I don't walk around going, I am the Voice of Rock and you are. But it's somebody has to be called it, so, it's whatever people want to call me. I'll take it, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the band you're touring with at the minute. Just run through the various members you have in the band.
I have changed my band members over the last 15 years. I've started out with guys and it ended up with new guys, and for many different reasons. The band I have now, Anders Olinder, is the longest member. He's been with me for 4 years, a keyboard player, Swedish, lives now in Bristol, and he understands all the elements of Glenn Hughes' music. I think keyboards are very important for my music, but he's a really great Hammond player, also a really good Fender Rhodes player, and he understands all of the Glenn Hughes eccentricities. The next member that came in is Søren Andersen from Copenhagen, an eclectic guitar player that also understands from trapeze to Blackmore to Hughes Thrall to the bluesy side of what I do, and he's got all those bases covered. To the newest member, Pontus Engborg, another Swede, I was looking for a powerhouse drummer, something in the same category as a Chad Smith player, or a Jason Bonham, somebody that's really heavy, and with Pontus I have that. So now I've got all the ingredients I feel that's appropriate for a Glenn Hughes, performance.
And of course, we can't have a Glenn Hughes interview without mentioning your Deep Purple days. Oh. What are your memories from working with Blackmore and Coverdale?
I learned what to do and what not to do. I was very, very young. I was although I had a lot of success in America with trapeze in my teens, and we were selling out a lot of 5,000-6,000 places a night in 71, 72, 73. And then Purple came in and they took me away, and then David came in, and David and I became best friends, and Purple were a band, those early 70s bands, there was a lot of, friction, a lot of, grandiosity, pomposity, larger than life. The roadies had their own roadies, everybody had their own helicopters. It was really over the top. And it also showed me the things I shouldn't have done, but the things I did do, I didn't die from, so I'm here to tell you. So some of us are still alive to tell the tale. But Deep Purple for me was 3.5 years of very fast and furious, 3 albums, studio albums, 2 live albums, constant touring, and a lot of success very, very quickly for a young man from the north of England.
And of course, you did mention it was a bit crazy, and you're well documented in saying about those days. You know, what advice do you have? I mean, you've been a survivor, as you say, as you told me before the interview. A lot of good friends didn't make it because of the pitfalls of the music industry. What would be your advice to like young musicians going out now, and what you've seen in your career?
Look, I'm not telling people to not enjoy themselves on a weekend or have a cocktail or whatever when they want to do. Some of us are, let's just say, a little different. We're wired differently. I'm one of the guys that one is never enough of anything. I don't do ones of anything. So I know that there's a way to live and a way not to live. And for me, I had to really go down the path to the end of the road and get on the gates of hell and go, okay, this is not good. But you know, that was my own personal thing where I had to do exactly what and now a lot of my friends didn't make it. A lot of my friends got sick along the way and got other things happen to them. But I'm one of these people that really live to tell the tale, and I'm probably the luckiest and most. Well, I'm probably the luckiest man alive.
Give us a word that sums up how you feel just at the minute with everything that's happening.
Euphoric. I'm lifted. I am grateful, humbled by the fact that I'm still breathing. I have everything that I need in my life. Love is the most important. I know this is golden nuts and it's John Lennon's 70th birthday today. You know, I'm all about that right now. So for me, it's just about giving back. I used to take from everybody. Take. And now it's time to give a little back. Give a lot back.
Glenn Hughes, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. I'm glad you finally made it for a gig in Belfast.
You're a good guy, Gary.
I hope you have a great time here tonight, as I'm no doubt you will.
I've got the look of the Irish tonight, so for all my fans in Ireland, I love you so much. Thank you for welcoming me. You're very sweet.
Brilliant. Have a great gig. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Gary. Bye-bye.